Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have really good news for anybody who basically wants to be a first-time home buyer or just a regular person trying to get a second home. Check this out. The good news is that it looks like because we have higher interest rates, a lot of investors are pulling out of the housing market. There's been a lot of talk out there where, it's really hard for you and me basically to compete with corporations that are just buying massive amounts of properties like BlackRock. So what happened was when the pandemic hit and the Feds dropped the rates to basically zero, there are companies out there that basically have access to money, right? A lot of it too. Versus like, you and me, we have to have 2 years of W-2s. We got to make a bunch of money. We got to go meet a mortgage broker. They got to shop around for a loan for us. It's such a hassle, right? But when you're like a company like BlackRock, you can literally you have the money already. You have the connections. The people that work for you are big timers. So, they have connections with the banks. They get hundreds of millions of dollars at their fingertips any day of the week. So they went in and they started buying homes like crazy. And could you imagine trying to go and try to outbid a investor? You're never going to do it. It's too hard. They just have too much weight. Now that's why there was a crunch, because they were definitely coming in and buying. But now with the interest rates, almost doubling, as it says over here, basically we went from like 4% a year ago to now 6.4, basically last week. Now investors are like, oh man, it doesn't make sense for them, right? Because they could get a better return if they put their money somewhere else. And it's giving like a little sign for us. We have probably a short time before they start coming back. But basically, with them leaving, if you are looking to buy a house, look, let me jump over to the Redfin weekly housing market data. Right now, we know it's going to go up during the summer. So right now, it looks like it's probably going to go down a little bit more, in my opinion, because, again, interest rates just went up. But it's looking like before summer, if people want to get in right now, this could be a good time. Now, I don't think it's going to go to all-time highs, but it might, definitely, it might go sideways. But again, if people are jumping back into the housing market this summer, if people are feeling good, if there are people making money, which there are people making money, we're going to definitely see prices go up, maybe definitely not as high as 2023, but I think it's definitely going to be higher than what it is right now. I mean, look at the charts. It always goes up during the summer no matter what. Now, are the Feds going to keep raising interest rates? Well, we know they are. So what is that going to do to the summer rush? Again, if we are pulling investors out and it's just regular home buyers, that is definitely opening up a possibility to get in. A lot of people keep complaining, why are regular citizens having to compete with these companies? That's not fair. And what ends up happening is that these knuckleheads end up renting those properties back to us, basically keeping us from obtaining the American dream. The American dream is basically you buy a house, you pay off your mortgage. If you make a little bit more money, you buy a second property. If you make even a little bit more money after that, then you could, expand with real estate, But then what ends up happening is if you just buy one house, or maybe you have two and a small apartment or something, when you get older, you move into the small unit, you rent out your house, and there's your investment. With, if you have retirement 401ks from your jobs and all that stuff, if you have a pension, which a lot of people don't have pensions, but if you do, good, that's awesome. And if you got Social Security, hopefully it's still around, then that is basically you got rental income coming in, you got a little bit of money coming in, and then all that helps you basically live in your old age. That is the almost like I would say the dream for the American class, to the middle class. But when you have corporations buying up all these properties, it sucks because you can't build wealth if you're renting, because rent always goes up. Where your mortgage somewhat stays, your mortgage is always going to be the same at the time when you buy it, right? So that's why you're encouraged to buy a house. or else you're gonna basically be poor. That's why I always tell everybody, you want to be comfortable with the payment. You gotta love the neighborhood as much as possible. You want to my rule of thumb is these things, okay? You should strive to put 20% down. That's number one. I know it's really, really hard, but that should be like a big goal of yours, is to get 20% down. If you need to ask some family, ask 5-10 grand, help out quite a bit, right? If you have that option. So anyways, try to get 20% down. And my other suggestion is, try to buy a house or an apartment or a condo that is in a really good school district. I'm talking nothing below a 9, below a 9. So 9s and 10s only. 10s definitely is better, but 9s is okay. I'm telling you, that will always increase the value of your property. Now, neighborhoods that have school districts that are 8 and 9s and 10s are going to be more expensive. They're going to be the nice neighborhood of wherever you live. But it is better to buy the cheapest house in a nice neighborhood than to buy the most expensive house in the cheapest neighborhood, because a high tide lifts all boats. So in an expensive neighborhood, when prices start going up, your property, doesn't matter how small it is going to rise higher than the property in a lower priced neighborhood, if you have the most expensive house, right? Because that other neighborhood is going to have crappier school districts, and it's not that interesting for people to move in there, right? To make it go up. Now, there are exceptions. Obviously, there's gentrification, and if you own a property in like one of these, like for example, Miami has an area of just like all around downtown Miami, which used to be really dangerous, and now big contractors are trying to put skyscrapers in there, and suddenly that little house that is worth $2 million, right? And it's tiny because they're looking at the square footage, nothing but that. So that's how things are changing. But that's don't bet on that, right? That only happens in certain situations, and basically a lot of those are taken up already. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So for all you new home buyers, just get ready, and let's see what's going to happen. All right, guys, if you do like these videos, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button and go ahead and like and leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.